This is an open letter to Barry Dunham. Dunham or Dunham? Barry Dunham. Mr. Obama, hello sir, how are you? Bravo. Bravo, Barry Dunham. Here's the thing, sir. I basically know about you about as much as any other average people know. The common folks have some knowledge of you, those who at least read the Wikipedia, have some knowledge of you, and based on that knowledge and what has happened historically, well, now that the information has come out, it seems, sir, you're a Barry Dunham, a white guy in a black face. Forgive me, sir, but bravo that you have achieved so much in life. But dude, man, you're I'm not sure why people on the right basically what's the word for it, demolish you or degrade you, and they think you are a communist or a socialist. No, sir, no, you are very capitalist, and you are very for white imperialism. That's why I say Barry, because at the core you have swallowed the pill of the white man's way of doing things is the correct way of doing things. Its form of economy, its form of governance, its form of its cultures and its poets and its writers, and you have swallowed the pill. So if you swallow that pill, I don't care if your name is Barack or Obama. If you have swallowed the pill that says my penis is the best penis, and mistakenly you see yourself as white in reality, when you swallow that pill, then white imperialism becomes natural to you, because you have grown up in the white imperialist setup, and thank God that it has worked for you. But the problem is the setup doesn't work for 99% of people. This imperialist way of looking at things, that yes, we like to spend a lot of money on the other fighting on the other side of the world on behalf of Goldman Sachs and BlackRock, because these are good people. We're gonna kill a bunch of those motherfuckers because those guys are bad people. So through killing them and taking what's theirs, we are helping good people who are Goldman Sachs and BlackRock. You have swallowed this pill. And that's where you got. Maybe on the surface you have tried to stay away a little from the old money in order to show that you're not being persuaded one way or the other, and you have behaved in a way that one expects you to behave. But I don't think that behavior is sincere, and I don't understand what the problem with white guys like Tucker Carlson is, that they think you did anything that a white president wouldn't do. It's sort of like, no, most of the things that you did are continuation of policies from the president before you, and handing over the same policies to the president after you, more or less. And nothing has changed with Mr. Trump either, because it's the ship of the state. The ship of state doesn't turn on a dime, so people change, but policies don't change. Because if the fifth floor of the State Department, everyone on the floor has signed their name that they have attested that they're not pro-China. If you're not pro-China, you're really anti-China. I.e., everyone in the State Department, like the Pentagon, has swallowed the pill that we have the best penis, period. Our form of government, our form of economy, our interest should be supreme. Whose interest is this? Is Joe Sixpack? It's really hasn't won anything for a long while now. So our interests, it's the interest of Goldman Sachs and BlackRock. Then the State Street Vanguard and the rest. Mr. Warren Buffett is also in there. So my point is this, that you haven't, like the rest, there's this pill, they call it patriotism. There is this pill of patriotism that says, my penis is the best penis. That's patriotism. That's, patriotism comes from that comes from patriotism. When you believe in the size of your own balls. If you believe the myth about the size of your own balls that you have created yourself. I mean, going around and bragging that, we got a constitution. There are, 200 other nations on this planet. They have put together something to, let's call it constitution, not oral, verbal, even a shitty tribal outfit in the middle of desert. They also have a kind of an oral constitution to run their shitty tribe. So there is nothing new about it. The idea is that there are some things in your constitution that are good, and apparently nobody cares. And when the verbiage is misleading, the verbiage is questionable, then a very specific interpretation is taken out of it. That's aside. Here's the thing, Mr. Barry Dunham. Here's what I say when you believe in taking your own pill. This is it. This is taking your own pill, taking the pill that says we have the best system. Is that you came up with a healthcare plan, which is not really a healthcare plan, it's an insurance plan. And private insurance insure people that again, so they can have some kind of a being taken care of with regards to their health. So here's the thing. I'm like 50, 51, 52, whatever. And I haven't had an eye exam for the past, since I got Obamacare, Dunham care, Barry care. When I got the Dunham care, when it came out, I got it. Thank you very much. But the thing is, now it has reached a point that so that would be what, 5, 6, 7 years since the beginning. I got it since the beginning. So after 5, 6, 7 years, I said, okay, I would like to have an eye exam, a general, routine vision eye exam. So I asked my general practitioner, and he said, okay, and he referred me to somebody. Today I went to, it was the eye exam day. After 5 years or 7 years of paying insurance, some help from Uncle Sam's managers, and thank you very much. But the thing is, I went in and they told me that is not eligible for routine vision exam on 4/14/2025. Age restriction, something like that. It's like, basically it says in-network routine vision exam benefit members under age 19 receive one-time routine vision exam per calendar year. So people over 19 don't need a vision exam, they don't need eyes anymore, they don't use their eyes anymore. It's sort of like, okay, that's a good thing that kids, as long as they're going to school, they should be able to read what what they're what they can. But I'm sorry, age restriction, and over 19, you don't get a routine vision exam, not even one every 5 years. Not even one every 5 years. So I thought, okay. And the lady over there explained to me that so they don't pay for it, but if you want, on a sliding scale, I can see where you fit, and you're going to be either paying between $60 and $160. And I said, okay, let me get back to you on that. And I left the office. Both it was, a considerable amount to pay for an eye exam, which there's nothing wrong, thankfully, yet. But, I thought, maybe, it's good to have one at least every 5 years, like the colonoscopy. So I went in and I was turned down and said, you got to pay for it. Then I said, okay, maybe this insurance company is not collecting enough premium to shill over $50 every 5 years for a routine eye exam, or $100 every 5 years for a routine eye exam. I thought maybe their premium is not enough. Maybe they can't afford it, these fuckers. So I came and just, wouldn't you know it, in the mail, it came in. The insurance company is Better. And I guess they're good people. So there is a $736 they have collected as a premium. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Uncle Sam, because my income is not sufficient to pay it myself. But the funny thing came to mind. I said, okay, so they're collecting $736 a month. Let's say 700. Let's round it down to $700 a month. They're collecting insurance to supposedly provide some kind of health care for me. Wherever they're collecting this money from me, or a combination of me and Uncle Sam's managers, which covers a lot of people, in some kind of combination, proportionally based on a person's income, they are collecting this money from somebody collectively to provide some kind of health insurance for me. $700 rounded down is $700 a month. That makes it $7,000, $8,000, $8,400, if I'm not mistaken. $8,400 they collect every year. $8,400 they're collected every year to provide some kind of insurance for me. First of all, not only they don't find $100 in this $8,400 per year to provide me with a yearly routine eye exam. Not only they can't find that $100 within that $8,400, but they can't even find it in a 5-year period to say that, okay, at least one routine eye exam every 5 years. $8,400, 42,000, let's say $500. $42,500, I might be off. 500 or $500. $42,500 they have collected in 5 years. $42,000, and they can't shill out $100 for a routine eye exam every 5 years. Within that $42,000 pile of money, they're not willing to fork over $100 every 5 years. That's sort of like, we're going into decimals. It's sort of like 0.011% 1% of this money they have to shell out, and they don't want to shell out. So Mr. Barry Dunham, dude, you have started a system in which money goes mostly from government for the commoners, for the peasants. Money for the healthcare of the peasants goes from the government to the insurance companies, and still the peasants don't get any healthcare. Money is handed over from the government to the healthcare industry, to the insurance industry, but still, even after this, 42,500 for a 5-year period, and a peasant still cannot get $100 eye exam for the $42,500 that the insurance company has received on their behalf. Why is there a need for an insurance company? I'm sorry, that $42,500, I think I can get a doctor to make house calls for me if I had the $42,500 to pay. I think on a what they call it in legal terms, there's a term for it, in which you pay a subscription fee to a lawyer on the retainer. Having a lawyer on the retainer, you can have doctors on retainers, and visiting people in their own home, and they're willing to do for $8,400 per patient. Basically, instead of paying the insurance company, you take this money and pay a doctor, a general practitioner, to do their business on a returner basis, and give them 100, 200, 500 members of the population. The doctors will still be making more money, and people will be getting more health attention. If you directly pay the healthcare industry, what is this business of insurance? You have put this insurance companies between the people and their healthcare. The insurers get the money from the government, but then don't allow the people to get healthcare either. Are you kidding me? Mr. Barry Dunham, I understand that you, at heart, you're a white imperialist. This I understand. White capitalist imperialist. This is a joke. This is a joke. Money is creating, the money that you say is creating inflation. It's not the money that you're giving people, it's the money that the government prints, gives to the insurance industry. Insurance industry puts it in this pocket, turns around to the peasants and saying, no, fuck you, you're not getting one eye exam every 5 years either. And not paying the doctor. I'm sorry, you pay this money directly to the doctor, I'm sure he can get paid and do his job and get paid and live well. What is this insurance business in the middle? $42,000 for 5 years, and not $100 eye exam can fit in there? This is the thing, sir. This is when I say you have swallowed the pill of white imperialism, and you see yourself as a white man, and white man in a traditional, not genetically white, but in the tradition of the white man, in the tradition of the West, that yes, going over there and conquering other people and determining their leaders for them, and then destabilizing them, it somehow benefits the locals. This is the tradition of not the racial white man, but the intellectual white man, or at least you can say the white man that have been in charge of the Western system for a very long time. We're talking about at least the last 500 years. Have been, this has called colonization and destruction, a destructive colonization. It has been their way. They have to be in control, because with control comes money. If you control it, you can make money out of it. And that's the whole idea behind Israel, and Israel expanding and expanding and expanding, because the more land you control, the more money you can make. Especially if you're getting the land for free. Uncle Sam's manager is paying for it with ammunitions and bombs, and also the natives. The natives are paying for it. And Uncle Sam's managers are paying for it. Basically, in this middle, Israelis are getting free land. Both sides are paying for it, but the Israelis are getting free land. The natives are paying for it by dying and by being made into refugees. And Uncle Sam's managers are paying for it because they're literally paying for the production of the ammunition that is killing the natives. So but you go along with this. You're not really against this idea, because I guess it makes sense to you. If it makes sense to you, I guess, in a way that if we don't do it, somebody else will. I'm sorry, this tradition of colonialism, that we have to control somebody else's land on the other side of the planet, that is a purely white man's game, European man's game. This sort of like the old empires used to expand within their own, at least, land base. This idea that no, we cross oceans and then we claim land. This is a very white man's game. Let's be frank. Not racial white man, because as Barry Dunham would testify, that he's not a racially, at least pure white, half white, but intellectually is all white. Is Barry Dunham. Intellectually, Mr. Barack Obama, intellectually is Barry Dunham. Raised by a white family, absent all blackness, forget about the African blackness, not even American blackness. In Hawaii, how many black people are native to Hawaii and can even afford to live in Hawaii? Oprah can afford to live in Hawaii. But, so, and she doesn't mix, so it doesn't count, and she never had any children. But how many black people with children can afford to live in Hawaii? Very few, especially at that time. So Indonesia and Hawaii and Kansas and Arkansas, I don't know, one of the Kansases. And so you really were grown up. You could have been a white boy. And, the blackness of the skin, it was coincidental. And I'm sure you got some that that's why I guess your behavior became very firmly white, in order to emphasize your whiteness, to get over that hill that everybody faces when they white people face when they face a black guy. They're wondering, okay, is this guy is an intellectual brother, or is he or is he going to ask me for my wallet? So you got a perfectly white accent and a very white behavior in order to impress white people that you're not going to grab their wallet, with proper behavior. And exactly what Mr. John McCain, I think he was referred to you as a well-spoken man, and this and that. Yeah, because that was your defense. That you learned early on that, yeah, because of my skin, I gotta behave very, in a very whitish manner to make sure the other guy doesn't run away. So my point is this: that to get over the typical shortcomings of the perception of other races, you pull your act together to behave extra well. Okay, good for you. But my point is this: you have bought into white imperialism, and and this is when I say white imperialism, I don't mean the white imperialism of my neighbors or the people that I meet on a daily basis. These poor folks are literally the cannon fodder of the white imperialism. This is like the 10% of white people who are on top in Europe and North America. They are the white imperialists. The rest of the 90% of white folks are their cannon fodder. And just like Israel, in the case with Israel, everyone is losing. All the peasants are losing everywhere. Those Palestinian brown people, they're losing their lives and their livelihoods and their place of living. Has been happening for 80 years now. And then and these peasants over here, the pink skin peasants in Europe and North America, they're not getting health care because those bombs cost money. So you have to build those bombs to go drop it on those brown people to clear land, so Goldman Sachs and BlackRock can go in and make some dough, lend some money and make some dough. Here's the thing. This is what we know. This is what is happening. Peasants everywhere losing because the 10% ruling class in the white countries want to own everything. This is clear. BlackRock, people who are shareholders in BlackRock, are part of the 10%. The other day I heard this fucking figure from NPR that sort of like 60% of Americans, 70% of Americans own stocks, and such a big figure. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, we have stockholders and we have stockholders. 60% may own stocks, but 58% of them own a lot of hot air. Own 3 stocks of this and 5 stocks of that, and that's all they can afford. You don't consider that as a stockholder. That's just a guy with some money on the table. It's not the owner of the casino anywhere. You have BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard who own parts of the casino. And then you have big hedge funds and big mutual funds who own other parts of the casino. Everybody else is just a player who's got a little money on the table, trying not to lose it. Everybody else, the rest of the 58% of stockholders, they got shit on the table and shitting their pants, hoping not to lose it. 60%. No, all these wars are on behalf of the very few who own the casino. BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. The rest. So here's the thing. And all these wars has been the 10% ruling class of the white people have gone through all these wars in order to benefit themselves and their friends who all are part owners of BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. Okay. My point is this. You have bought into this, sir, right? This white imperialism. There is a talk, you negotiated an arms deal with the Iranians, Mr. Barry Dunham. On behalf of white people, your people, you negotiate on behalf of white imperialism. You've negotiated a nuclear deal with the Iranians. And you say, okay, no, okay, as long as you don't use it for this, then that, okay, you can keep some. But let's be frank. The whole idea is to disarm them. Because you want everybody's pants around their ankles. Here's the thing, Mr. Barack Obama. White people, the white imperial class wants everybody's pants around their ankle. If I had to, put my 2 cents in, I would say, sir, I will disarm as Pakistan, as India, as China, as Kazakhstan, as Tajikistan, as Afghanistan, as Iran, as Pakistan, as Iraq, as Syria, as Libya, Nigeria. Sir, I want to get nuclear weapons, and you shouldn't want to stop me. You can't stop me, because I will only disarm when you, the white society in North America, when you were able to convince your own citizen to give up their arms, I will disarm. I will disarm the day Uncle Sam's managers would be able to convince their own white peasants to disarm, which would be never. Don't tell me to disarm when you can't convince your own citizens that you're a government that can be trusted. Your own citizens don't believe their own overlords. Don't ask me why. Well, if you ask me why your own citizens don't trust you, because you're following in the white man's tradition. That's the European ruling class tradition. And that is, you want to call it democracy, call it whatever you want. That's the rule of the rich. The British still have a House of Lords. They still have a fucking king. Well, their king is, overtly clear, but while, the kings in Uncle Sam's land are not so overt. I mean, there are many kings. It's just because you don't have one king, there are many kings. It's like the owners of BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguards, they're kings in their own rights. At least they're dukes. At least they're lords. They don't have a title, but if you have such a wealth, you're a lord. And these guys are the American lords, determine who goes into the office. So you have more or less the same, because exactly like the lords in England picked their king, or came to some kind of agreement. Lords in America come to some kind of agreement that who becomes the president, the king, for 4 years, 8 years, whatever. Still, it's lordship. Still, it's lordship. So still, the white imperialism hasn't gone anywhere. You want to call it democracy. Here we have Barry Dunham, picked as somebody that of white people, a lot of them just turn their nose at, but still he follows white capitalist imperialist system. Has taken the pill. Very white, very capitalist, very imperialist, and your own citizens have recognized this. That they say, no, we are not going to disarm because we cannot trust this imperialist, capitalist managers of Uncle Sam. We cannot trust BlackRock, we cannot trust State Street, we cannot trust Vanguard, and the politicians that take their orders, we cannot trust them, so will not disarm. This is white peasants telling their white overlords, we will not disarm because we cannot trust you. Now you're going halfway across the world telling the brown Iranians that who are witnessing, first of all, your own citizens don't trust you, second, and they don't disarm, but you go across the world and tell the Iranians to disarm, and they see your own citizen can't trust you, so they don't disarm. Then they see those who did disarm, like Libya and Syria, as soon as they were easy target, you went and you just killed them off. Why would they disarm? They must be mad if they disarm. I mean, they would be intelligent if they go nuclear tomorrow. White imperialism has shown that if the target is weak enough, the weaker the better. There is no honor. The weaker the target, the better. So we are going to embargo and sanction and embargo and sanction, and then we go in for a kill. It's sort of like, just hunting an animal is too dangerous. So you first block it off, surround it, put it in a cage, and you weaken it, make it suffer by hunger, and literally weaken it through hunger. So then when you go in for a kill, you have an easier time of killing it. We will not put such a... This is what white imperialism has done and is doing to other races in this planet. Other races who apparently don't have any rights. Rights are just for American citizens. Anybody else on this planet? Their rights are expandable, explainable, explained awayable. That is the thing, that you have bought into this, although being brownish, blackish, you have bought into this white imperialist capitalist. Here, money exchanges hand between those who print money and those who accumulate money. Money changes hand, but still healthcare is not provided. But if the point was providing healthcare, this money that's going to insurance company, the Wall Street people are getting rich off this money. If you just take away the insurance and say, hey, everybody should deal with doctors, and you give money to doctors, it's sort of like, hey, here's some money, take care of these people, healthcare directly. That makes a lot more sense than making Wall Street people rich and still not getting health care. Oh God. I'm sorry, Mr. Barack Obama, forgive me, but you bought into this, and you went into the office and you executed the same way, everything the same way as if a white man had gone in. So white imperialism is safe and sound. So what was this race between you and John McCain? You were John McCain, John McCain was you. They were both for, both for running the kind of government, all kind of system, and your bureaucracies. Same thing. Policies stay the same. They're all about, behaving in such a way that not only nobody else can trust you, should trust you, but your own citizens don't even trust you. And they say they need to stay armed to protect themselves against the government. The government, which has behaved in such a way that the citizens still say we need arms to protect ourselves against the government, if nothing else, is just, shoot myself if the government comes after me. That's a kind of protection against torture, I guess. But my point is this, that you're trying to convince the Iranians to put aside their arms. You haven't been able to convince your own population, and for good reason. The white imperialism does not have a good report card. Hasn't had since they started it. This white imperialism, colonialism / imperialism, trying to expand way away from your land. Europeans kept on fighting each other, trying to expand their territories within that small, shitty little place. And then, unfortunately, they learned how to build big ships, and then the rest of the world could not get rid of them. And you're putting foot in their footstep. Because you bought into the hooliganism. Hooliganism that accompanies white imperialism. This shit show that follows the white man's capitalism. People are getting... I have no problem with people getting rich, but I wish, I think Luigi Mangione was right. I wish the doctor was getting rich, and he would have been getting rich if this money directly went to the doctor. A couple of lazy assholes in Wall Street are getting rich. BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard are getting rich. The money that the government is printing is giving it straight to the top. The government. Here's the thing, again, this budget thing that you guys... An empire, if you got fiat money, the empire, the people who own the printers for the fiat money that the empire produces, they can have a lot of budget deficit, no problem, because all the loans are in that denomination, and all the loans have interest, and nobody's printing the interest. So there's always going to be a deficiency of that unit of currency. So the empire can print as much as they want, but the correct way for the empire to print, and for the correct way for the empire that has to print in order to provide liquidity so everybody doesn't go bankrupt because nobody is printing the interest. In order to perform this function correctly, the empire has to provide this money to the bottom of the society. Inject the liquidity at the bottom, because this liquidity eventually will reach the top, but still it has to be injected at the bottom with universal basic income. This insurance business is injecting liquidity straight to the top, from top to top. Bottom didn't get a drop of liquidity. This insurance business is going from the government for the healthcare of the in the name of the healthcare for the peasants. In the name of healthcare for the peasants, the top of government is printing a lot of money, putting it in the computer and handing it over to the health insurance industry. The money is being changed hands from top to top, from the government to BlackRock, or one of these companies own those health those insurance, health insurance industries. All three of them own them. So the money goes from the government, the new money, every time, month after month, the new money goes from the government to the Wall Street, titans of Wall Street, in the name of the peasants, in the name of healthcare for the peasants. The healthcare is not provided, the doctor is not getting paid, and the peasant is not getting healthcare, but the money is going to Wall Street. Salute. Seriously? This is domestic capitalism, crony capitalism, gilded age type of capitalism. This is public-private cooperation for the enrichment of the very select group of people. And that is your foreign policy. Again, go to math and get involved with all these shitholes on behalf of those corporations. These corporations are going to own the mines in Ukraine. If there's any deals going to be signed, they don't give any of those mines to me. Lithium mine is not going to me, it's going to go BlackRock. They're going to hold an auction, closed auction, and State Street, BlackRock, and Vanguard representative is going to attend that auction, and one of them is going to own this lithium mine, and the other one is going to own that lithium mine, and some money from these guys are going to go to those guys. End of story. Some white people sell to other white people. That's your foreign policy. Let's grab more land for these large corporations of ours. This is your domestic policy. Let's fuck these peasants, and in the name of their healthcare, let's give some more money to these corporations of ours. You have a corporation sickness. You have an imperialist sickness. You have a capitalist sickness. Everybody everywhere is getting screwed because Vanguard needs to get paid. The brown people and the black people and the white people and all the people around getting fucked by the corporations with the help of Barry Dunham. Salute to Barack Obama.